Hello everybody, Alex the Pro here from Expert4x, and in this webinar we're going to talk about secrets of finding great Forex settings. This section is a re-recording of the initial webinar, and the initial part of the webinar recording failed, so I'm remaking this in video format. The rest of the webinar follows this initial section. On a regular basis we get questions in our support areas saying, how can I find great settings for my EA? And this webinar will show you how you can find really good settings for your EA and create a portfolio of trading instruments at the same time. So what I'm going to do today is analyze a database which all owners of Expert4x Robots have access to. So it's not a hidden one, everybody has access to it. What I'm going to do is create a short list of say 10 to 12 potential currencies, timeframes and settings to use. I'm going to reduce that short list to, let's say, 4 currencies in each group. So I'm going to have 2 groups. The one group's going to trade the normal way and the other group is going to trade in the reverse way. And then I'm going to load those 8 items into a trading account to create a portfolio. And I'm going to start trading there. But I'm also going to change the settings to be more practical and more customizable to my needs. And then all of this will be shared and the settings will be made available to you. Now, a long time back, I sat back and said, what do I need to succeed in Forex trading? And the first thing was I need a thorough knowledge of technical analysis in Forex trading. So I put a huge amount of effort into that. In the first 2 to 3 years, I basically studied everything that moved in Forex trading on a technical analysis and from a trading perspective. Through the process, I built up a huge range of experience trading and testing various techniques and systems. Then when I met up with EA Factory, I created the ability to automate routine aspects of my trading. Now that's what EAs basically are. They are automated routine aspects of Forex trading. And I also learned to create lots of meaningful information about currencies, timeframes, settings, and also currency behavior. And those things gave me such a kickstart in my own Forex trading using Forex Trading robots. Now, the first thing to do, and a lot of people ask us for settings, but let's define what we regard as ideal settings. So firstly, it should be profitable in the past. We can't guarantee that it'll be profitable in the future, but it should at least be profitable in the past. It should have a relatively low drawdown. And the way I analyze drawdowns, I look at drawdown relative to income. So if your income is 100,000, your drawdown is 10,000, that's a really good return on risk, because your risk is 10,000, your return is 100,000, and that's pretty good. Then I look at a relatively smooth equity curve. I don't want an equity curve that has huge dive downs, which represent drawdowns, in fact, and that type of thing. So that's important that the settings that you use have a relatively smooth equity curve. And I'm looking for a payoff of over $10 when using 0.1 lots. So in other words, the average gain on all transactions, the negative and the positives added together, should be over $10. And I'll show you a little bit more about that. That is quite a key ratio. We have tested literally thousands of EAs, and we found the successful ones are all over $10 and the unsuccessful ones are definitely below $10. And then the nice to haves are a high success rate, a high average gain, and a low average loss. And you need a good number of trades. You can't base your settings on trades of 3 or 4 in a whole year. So let's go and have a look at an example to make all of that a little bit clearer. And here's an example of the make money being traded in the normal way by the pound USD. In this particular year, it made $48,000. So that gives it a tick. Yes, it's profitable. The trades, there were lots of trades, over 1,000 trades, so we give that one a tick. Profit factor doesn't really matter because it's the sum of all of these factors that I've just mentioned in the previous slide. If they don't work, the profit factor will be below 0, below 1, and you don't want that. Then the expected payoff, that's the one that I spoke about. And how that number is calculated is very easy. You take the profit divided by the number of trades and you get an answer, and that's the expected payoff. And as I say, anything under 10, just be very wary of, very unlikely to succeed. Then the drawdown during that particular period, there it is at 6,000. Now if you look at 6,000 as a ratio of 48,000, that's pretty good. It's about 16% or so, and that is pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. And then the profitable trades success rate is almost 70%. That's really good. And the average loss is 130 and the average gain is 109. So that's actually bad. You always want the average loss to be less than the average gain, but because the success rate is so high, it is generating really good returns, and there are the returns. And then the next thing that we spoke about was a smooth equity chart, and here is the equity chart. Look, it's not 100% smooth, but at least it's got some really good movement upwards with very small little tiny little retracements in there, but as we know, it's only about 16% of the retracement, so pretty good record on there. So that's the type of settings that I look for. I look for those elements within settings, and if all those elements are good, then the profit factor will also be good. Now, this webinar is actually a follow-on on the video I produced earlier this week, which said that the Make Money Forex robot makes money when traded in any direction. So you can actually trade breakout trades, and you can trade bounce trades with the Make Money, and you can still be profitable. And I'm going to show you exactly how to find those settings and build a portfolio where you're actually trading breakout and bounce trades at the same time. There's the link, but as normal, the link will be available in the description of the video. This is the EA Factory website, and I'm particularly in the Make Money EA. There you can see there's hundreds of EAs there that you can buy or look at, and I've got most probably a few more than you have. But the Make Money is there. You can now download it in MT5 format and MT4 format, and you can download it there. But the most important area is where people ignore. They ignore the product information section. I can't tell you that the number, and it's a high number of people that clearly don't read the product information section at all. They just go, oh, yes, let me download, and they download, they ignore the user guide, ignore the product info, and then we end up playing the role of a user guide and repeating everything that's been written here. So please, when you use an EA, when you buy an EA, read all about it. Read the user guide, use the product information. There are gems in there. And because we are really trying to make you succeed with these things. Right, so this is the EA Factory sign-on, and I'm just going to quickly sign in there. So this is what you would do if you're an owner of the website, and there's a whole lot of stuff there. So you go down to Make Money. All right, so now you're seeing exactly what I showed on the previous slide. Now this is real live stuff. So we go into settings analysis. All right, now one of the things, because we're so fast, we are updating our settings way faster than ever before. Because of this massive machine, it's air-cooled and water-cooled, and it's just is the most amazing machine. We can do our re-optimizations on a continuous basis. So there's revision 8, revision 7, and if we go down, let's probably find a few more. 6. So you can see we're improving February, June. See, there we are. 1 month difference, July 1 month difference. So we regularly update this data. And why do we do that? Because I want it. Quite honestly, I want this data updated. I'm showing you what I do in this webinar. This one has two elements. It's got the reverse entry element, and then it's got the normal entry element. And this one only has, Typo hasn't done the reverse yet. So we're going to be working with August data and for the current one. But let me just go in here. So let's click on that. Now this is the normal direction. Now, can you see? This is a huge schedule. So this is all automated. We do the optimization. The results feed in straight into the system, and it creates its own set files. There are the set files for the various results. And I'm going to take you through this because this is part of my secret. This is a database that I've created that really gives me such a big advantage. So I've sorted this in profitability order. And what you can see now that is essentially we test these 10 basic currencies. We test them on 3 time frames. We use a leverage of 100. We use a deposit of 10,000 and a lot size of that on all our tests. And the reason for that is that we can then compare any EA, any setting, anything. We can compare anything with each other because we're consistently using the same lot sizing, the same deposit, all that kind of thing. And this is for the make money, and there's the periods tested. And here's all those details that I showed you earlier about the testing that we do. So for the pound yen, for instance, made 92,000 in that year. That's off $10,000. So it's pretty good optimization. Bear in mind, optimization has its limits, but still what it does show is the potential of a particular EA. And it's done a lot of, anyway, so that's the information that you see. And a lot of people stop here. But if you go lower down, you then get the settings. Here are the settings, the exact settings that are used for that. You don't need to go here because you just click on the set file and it'll download those settings in a set file. But here they are out of interest. And you can then do, what I do is I compare the settings that are doing well and find common areas in them that are interesting. Like, for instance, is the stop bigger than the target? Are they the same, or that kind of thing? What is the trigger level? Look at this as well. The one had a 15 trigger level, so the trigger levels are important. Generally, the good ones are quite high, and so on. And so you can compare, and you can also see which time frames are the best and which currencies are the best, and so on and so on. And you can see the higher volatility currencies are at the top of this list. So when you're trading the make money EA, you should choose high volatility currencies to trade it. So that's what it's telling us, and a whole lot of other things. Whatever happened in the past, disregard. These are the current set files because they have been updated, and they update every month, so they change. And you know, you can decide whether you want to go for the latest set file or want to use the existing set file that you have. You know, the decision is yours. There's no rule on that. You make the decision, you the trader. All right, so there are the settings. Now, the next thing that people don't look at is they don't go down. So let's go and find this pound 15-minute. Let's go and find it. Then we give the actual charts. And I'm going to go to the pound yen. There's the pound yen 15-minute. That's the one that's done the best. You look at the chart and you say, oh yeah, it's not too bad. It has drawdowns. Look, it has drawdowns. It has periods where it's trading sideways, that kind of thing. But in general, that's not a bad chart. But the point now is, if you click, has anybody, I just want to see, has anybody here in the room ever clicked on that link? All right, so majority haven't. All right, so you click on that link, and it then gives you all the and some more stats. It tells you the success rates, and we've already got all of that elsewhere. But you can go and look, and this is the more traditional results that you get when you do your back testing. So, and there's the answer. Blueberry markets is the demo that we're using and all that. So can you see that this database is ginormously interesting, and you can delve down in it in quite a lot of detail. So let's do that. All right. So then what I do is I then go down the list. Now remember, there was a 92 was the pound yen. I then go down the list and I highlight the ones that are interesting. So that one's interesting, that one's interesting, but now that one's not interesting, and there might be a reason why. Let's just see why I'm not too interested in this one. It could be the equity chart. We'll have a look at that. Could be the equity chart that doesn't look good. But this is that one, for instance, is good in that it's got a high gain and a low loss, which is but the success rate isn't very good. So I think that's why I've left that one out, and then so on. And then I'll go down and I find lots of interesting looking ones. Now, when I say interesting, they meet those criteria that I mentioned earlier quite well. And you'll see the ones that I also disregard sometimes have slightly higher drawdowns, that type of thing. But in most cases, it is the equity chart that will disqualify ones like that. So then that's my short list. So I've got a short list of about 10 items here. I then investigate them in detail in terms of looking at comparing their statistics from one to the other. And I also look at the equity charts of the various ones. Now, the red blocks are the ones that I've chosen to trade in my portfolio. They are the red ones. And these ones over here, I haven't chosen. Now, just for instance, why didn't I choose the Aussie and why didn't I choose the pound CAD? So I'm going to just move on and we'll see why. So the Aussie yen, if you look at this equity chart, I'm trading sideways. I have a good run. I'm trading sideways for most probably 8 months, and then I have a good run. So is that the kind of EA that you want, where you'll sit still and do nothing because it traded sideways for 8 months and then have a burst? So I thought, well, no, I'd rather have one that just goes gradually up like that. Are you starting to get a feel of what role the equity charts play in all this? And you don't have to go and look for them. You don't have to recreate them. They are already there for you. Okay, so I disregarded this one. I said, no, I'm not happy with that. All right, so then we looked at the pound CAD, and as you can see, this is a bit of a jumble. It's not bad, but it has those drawdowns, and a lot of short-term drawdowns. Can you see the short-term drawdowns? A lot of short-term drawdowns there, and we're saying, no, this doesn't quite, and this might be okay, but compared to the others, it's not. So let's go and have a look at the others. And we say, all right, these are accepted. Okay, you can immediately see that's a much smoother equity curve. That's a much smoother. It does have that period there, but it's much. But I'm going to talk about that period. And then we have this one. And then we have that one. So that one really is good. This is not bad. But there are subtle things that I then look at. I say, all right, oh, look, there's a drawdown, and it did nothing. But look, at the same time, this one was going up. So these two hedge each other. While this one's resting, this one's producing the goodies. So you start building a portfolio that compensates itself. These equity charts are invaluable for that kind of thing. I mean, here's a good example. That's going down, that's going up. Immediately it compensates, and that's going up at the same time, and that's also going up at the same time. So really, and again, here you've got a downward movement. The others are going up, the others are going up, the others are going up. So you start choosing your currencies based on their profiles. Has anybody ever seen anything like this in terms of portfolio creation and analysis and all that stuff? I haven't learned this anywhere. I just did it. because I think this is what is needed to trade properly. Now, there's a comment here, yes, but it's not clear. When I produce the recording, which I'll have to record the first few minutes because I didn't record that, please re-watch this video. Just re-watch it over, and you might have to watch it 5 or 6 times. Then suddenly the penny will drop, and you'll see. Don't wait for somebody to explain it to you, because I'm doing my very, very, very best to explain it to you. I don't know any other way. And by the way, I'm just showing you what I do. So please don't put an onus on me to teach you these things. I'm showing you what I do. You work out while what I do is good or not. You know, it might not be right. You know, the answers I get might be total nonsense. Okay, so sorry, we're running away with time, but let's move on. Right, so then I did the same thing for the reverse direction. And I'm not going to show you the reverse direction in Forex in EA Factory website, but the same thing applies. You click on the reverse direction settings, you go and analyze them exactly the same. So I thought these are good. You see why I disregarded those? Look at the high drawdowns, unacceptable there, unacceptably high, so I disregarded. So I highlighted the ones that I wanted to trade. Boom, boom, boom. There they are. And then I selected my currency. So we go boom, 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 boom. There's my, so I've shortlisted, and then I've decided I'm going to trade those 4 currencies. Again, this is a bit easier. They are the 8 currencies that I evaluated. So then you put all of them together like I've just done there, and you say, all right, you know, let's start eliminating some. And this one obviously is the first to eliminate. I mean, it's just rubbish, that. So you eliminate that. That goes out. Then you look again and you say, oh, look at this. It basically stayed the same again for half the year and then did nothing much there. I don't want that one. This one's, oh yeah, well, I accepted that one. This one, why did I, this is a bit, although it's good, the Euro 1 hour is better and the Euro 4 hour is better. So I eliminated the Euro 4. So I do different things. You can see I also take into account, you can't have 3 euros trading. You want to spread your risk. So I have to eliminate 1 euro, and boom, out that one goes. Although it's got a nice one, but it only generated 50,000. This one generated 670,000, and that one. So out that one went, and then this one again. I'm going to go for euro. So I don't want too many euros in my portfolio. So I eliminated that one because it's also a little bit jumpy, but it's not bad. That's actually acceptable. If I was going for 5, I'd include that one. And so I'm left with the Euro 1 hour, the Euro 4 hour. I'm left with the yen. The yen also went sideways a long time, but it's sort of okay. That one's actually better than that one, but I don't want to have too many euros. And then I've got the Aussie yen here. That's fairly nice. So that's how I generated my 4 currencies. All right. So now we've made our minds up about which currencies we're going to trade and why. So I've done a bit of portfolio balancing. I don't want to overexpose myself to a particular currency. And what's nice about selecting these 2 is the US is on that side and the US on so there's like a compensation if the US takes off in one, you know, so there's a compensation element that plays a role there. So there's all kinds of more advanced things, but I've shown you quite a bit. And let's then move on. All right, I think you can see the screen now. Yeah. So I've made my list of currencies that I'm going to trade. All you then do is you download those set files, only of the ones that you've chosen. So you download those. They then go into your download folder. There's my download folder. I think you can see that. Yeah. And you copy that. And yeah, then you go to your platform that you're going to use to trade. You then go into File, Open Data folder. You go to MQL4, And there's where all the presets sit. Now, I've already done this, so you'll see them. So I'll open them up. And there you paste. You just go paste, and there they are. So now they're ready for your use as you have, as you need them. So now the next step is just to set up 8 charts and load those settings into those 8 charts. All right, so there's my 8 charts. I've actually loaded them on already, because obviously it would take a long time for the webinar. We're going to go over a little bit, so sorry about that. But so I've loaded the EA onto 8 chart. So you load the EA. I've changed the magic number to be different on all of them. So, and the reason for the unique numbers is you see in the middle here is a blank. I'm going to put a EA in, and it's a free EA. You go to FX Blue. You can then link this account using that EA. I'm going to put that EA in there. And because I've got unique numbers, I can analyze each currency on its own using FX Blue. So I'm not going to show you that now, and I haven't even done it yet, but there's the setup that I've got. These are the N stand for normal. I've actually written that in, and the R's stand for reverse. So I've got that in. So how do I load the settings? I go Expert Advisors, Properties. Let me pull the properties up there. Yeah, that's coming up. Allow live trading. I go to Inputs. And in this one, I want to load, this is the pound. So I also have put the currencies in and the time frames that we're trading. So so this is the pound yen 15 minutes. So what I then do is I say load, and there we are. So I go down to the pound yen 15 minutes. There it is. I click on that, and I'm not going to do it now because I've already loaded it. You click on that, it goes in there, and when you say open, it will load those settings. And there I have the settings on my in my account, and I move on. You click on OK to save those settings, and you then move on to the next one. That is for the pound New Zealand. You do the same thing. And you load the settings in there. So then what you've done is you've created a portfolio of the settings that you want to trade. I then go a little bit further. I actually put the ADX and the moving averages on my chart, because I want to actually see whether these qualify as tradable signals. And so I put the ADX and that on, and I can immediately see there's no signals at the moment, because the moving averages are pointing up, but the ADX is below the red line. Those are pointing down, but the ADX is below the line. That's below the line. That's below the line. That's below the line. So they're all below the line, so there'll be no trading. And that's the thing. The Make Money has been designed not to trade in sideways markets or markets that are, that are going nowhere. That's my setup. Now, this setup is in the forum for the Make Money owners. You can go and download. You can have a look at the setup. You can also download the settings from there. Okay, so what I've just done is I've created a profile on the MT4 platform. I've loaded all the charts on. I've loaded the specific set files into the platform. I've loaded the set files into the charts. I've changed the unique numbers. Then the next thing to do is lot sizing. I'm keeping the lot sizing at 0.1 because I'm not using a $10,000 demo account to trade this. So I've kept that at 0.1. If you're using $10,000, a $1,000 account, then you just use 0.01. And then what I would do, and I'm not going to do this now, is I would review the trailing stops, the dynamic stop, and the targets, because some of those settings have got silly settings in there, and I would refine them to what I would like them to be. And then after all of that, I would link them to the FX Blue system so that I can then analyze the trading. Now, I'm not going to trade this until maybe Tuesday next week, because there's a lot happening. There's a whole lot of things happening in the market in the next few days, and Tuesday might be a bit of time to. Because we're using 15-minute charts, the time of day becomes a problem. Well, it's quite easy. If your broker's GTM plus 3, if this is GTM, then plus 3 is, in simple maths, 11. That can't go beyond 24, so you put in 24. So that is another adjustment. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, that you have to make, because we're using 14. It doesn't matter if you get this a little bit wrong. Quite honestly, seriously, any settings will work, even if you get this a little bit wrong. If you got it 1 or 2 out, not serious. Most settings will work. Now we've got our portfolio and we're ready to rock and roll. All I need to do is click on auto trading and this portfolio will start work. This is what I said in the beginning. We're going to analyze the database. We're going to create a shortlist. We're going to reduce the shortlist. We're going to load it into a portfolio and change some of the settings and start trading it. So hopefully I've achieved my objective. Then I'm sharing the process and the settings with you. I'll give you some more information about the sharing of the settings. Here we are. Here's the slide. There is the forum. You don't have to memorize this or anything like this. You just go to the Make Money forum and you go into the Make Money Users forum and you go into settings and you'll see it there. And this is what you'll see. You'll see settings for the 1st of November. There are all of the set files that you can download, and there's an example of my portfolio as it sits on the MT4 platform. You know, there are aspects here that I've never shared with people before. I hope that you found it interesting, and I'm happy to field any questions and comments right now for if you do have anything. How often do you do this? Whenever you like. There's no rule. Do it on a Friday, do it at the end of the month. Do it when you need to. If a currency is not performing, go and have a look at why it's not performing, make changes. So the answer is really where necessary. If everything's going hunky-dory, don't do anything. If everything's failing, go back to the drawing board and change everything. I find Forex traders rules. They want rules. In fact, by using your logic and your common sense, which is very in short supply in you know, judging from the comments we get from our help desk, you know, logic and common sense seems, they seem to think Forex trading is so complicated, it must have rules and regulations and instructions, and just use your common sense and logic. You know, it's just it's so easy. But look, I've got 15, 16 years of experience, so these things all come naturally. But in the end, just use your common sense and logic. There's no rule. Again, the message here is don't try and lock into rules. I know when you're starting out, you want rules, and it's good to have them in the beginning, but just realize later on, those are only training wheels. You need to let go of them, take them off your bicycle and drive freely. What I would suggest is I have selected certain currencies. I've selected a certain shortlist, and I've selected a certain currencies. That is what you've got to perfect. Not the technical stuff of loading profiles and all loading the settings. That's technical stuff. The clever stuff is creating a shortlist. Why did I exclude certain ones? Why did I include certain? Why did I go for those 4 and not others? That is what where the real value of this webinar should come from, is that's what you should be perfecting. And you can apply this to all of our EAs. All of our EAs have that database. I've made sure because I want them. All right. Okay. So from me, Alex, look, thanks very much for your attendance. So we've had a really good bunch of people in the webinar. Nice questions. Thank you for all your participation. It's a pity I forgot to record the first bit of the webinar, but I will record it and add it to the recording that's taking place right now. So from me, Alex, I'm sorry that we've overrun a little bit, but it is quite a big topic. I think I've covered it in enough detail for you to get a grasp of what happens. If you do have any questions, certainly use the forum or use YouTube. The recording will be published on YouTube. You can use the YouTube comments facility to ask questions. So from me, Alex, cheerio.